Hello, welcome to this mobility session. We will be doing everything upper bodies today. So think hips up. We're going to stretch it. We're going to activate it. We're going to strengthen it. We're going to do it all. Slightly different than the lower body. I think because the upper body often with our upper neck particularly, a lot of the reason why it gets so sore and achy and tight is actually because the muscles are a little bit weak. So we want to strengthen them so they don't freak out and like tighten up. And so we'll do some strengthening work for the upper back and the lower back as well. But first things first, we're going to check in because that's a great thing to do. So what I'd like you to do is do your own version of a check-in. Maybe you do like a little warm-up routine. Maybe you do some push-ups. Or you can do what I'm about to do. Your choice, but you're going to check in with your upper body, your lower back, and see how it's feeling. I'm going to get my timer on so I keep us running on sketch. So you may need, likely we'll need a ball tonight, I should say. Do a big stretch up and a foam roller, ball and foam roller, just like when we did our lower body set. So big tall up. Now I might do a bit of a side bend, see what my side body's feeling like. And the other side. Good. And I'm not going to spend too long, but I might just pop into a bit of a downward dog because that's going to tell me how my neck and shoulders are feeling, maybe my arms, any tightness. And then a nice, good way to find out how the upper body again is doing is come to a 4-point position, and I'm going to stretch and just see how that feels, lengthening out, reaching opposite arm and leg long, and then same on the other side. How's that feeling? And my last check-in is going to be a push-up with a T in it. So any variation of push-up, knees or toes. And what I'm going to do, oh, mate, I've got nothing, is roll up to the sky. What does that feel like when I do that? Do I feel strong? Is anything a bit... If I turn my head up to the sky, what happens? What does that feel like? Another push-up again. And the other side. Look up, stretch up. And last check-in will be just a cobra, laying down on the ground, hands by the side, and we'll roll off the ground. What does that feel like? If there's anything else you'd like to do, check in with, now is the time to do it. So we're going to start with some general foam rolling. So grab your foam roller. And again, just keep in the back of mind, this would be really good if you did have time. It probably only takes you maybe 4 or 5 minutes to roll before a session. This would be definitely something you could do. I suggest tucking your top into the back of your pants when you do this, because otherwise it gets caught up. All right, so sitting on the roller, again, we are just doing hips up, and you're just going to do a little forward, backward roll across your lower back. If I move up, maybe you transfer some of the weight to the right side of your lower back, and then to the left side. You don't have to dig in too hard, but just a little feel. Again, 5 or 6 swipes. And then we'll come a bit higher. Can you do your mid back as you roll? And you can cross your hands across your chest now. And as you roll, maybe you get a bit of an arch kind of situation where you round out. We won't be rolling the whole session, do not worry. But the reason we do this is it kind of warms up the muscles. And so get it mid back. And then what you're going to do is just kind of extend your Let me get me some space. So I've kind of got it mid back. You can see that around about the bottom of where my shoulder blades are. Bump just resting on the ground. And what I'm going to do is reach my arms overhead and then come back down. And maybe from that point, you can see I'm getting a little back extension in, a little tilting from that point. Exhale as you reach back. And again. So kind of reach from this point here, from the point the foam roller's sitting at. And what we're doing is opening up through the chest and also just encouraging some mobility through the spine. 5, and each time you do it, your hands are reaching a bit further back, chest is popping a bit more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Can you cross your hands again and just do foam roll the top of the spine? I'm just holding my head because my neck's decided to cramp. That's all right. Good. Okay. So now we've done this, we're actually going to roll over onto our side. I'm on my left side. And we're going to do this front part of our shoulder. Yep. I won't explain the whys. We'll just do it. Okay. Here we go. So arm by your side. And it's just kind of flat arm. And you're just going to forward, backward, a little shuffle through the hips. Feels awkward. Will feel great when you try and do dips next time. When you do dips and you're like, it just feels tight along my shoulders. Or you're like, how do I stretch this like area here? Wow. Here's how you do it. You get in there and you give it a little rub. Digging in. You can, say you didn't have a foam roller or your foam roller was just feeling weird or it was too diggy. You can still do this with the ball. Okay, so a few swipes. Okay, so now we're going to, you're going to love me for this one. We're going to think about doing this part of your arm. Okay, so underneath the armpit and that back portion, around about there. This is, you know, when we talk about doing lat squeezes, if you do that with your arm right now, if you went like this, you can feel that that muscle pops out. That's where we're trying to get this part here. So I want you to lay down on your foam roller at the back of your armpit and roll that out. Why do we do that? Because it's going to open up your chest. When you release that muscle, it's going to help you feel more open and broad, and it will help you breathe easier. So a little roll, maybe you can play around with it. And then when you feel a gross part, you feel a part that's a bit like, oh, that's a bit sticky. What we can do, I hope you, so for me, it's right there. So once you've got that point and you're using your foam roller or you're using your ball and you've got it on that one point, what we're going to do is move our arm. So I've got the pressure on there. I'm just going to rest my elbow on the ground and I'm going to roll my palm to the ground and up, ground and up. And each time I do it, it's going to get just a little bit deeper into it. Maybe really dig back. Rotating, just pivoting on the elbow. 4 to go. Exhale as you really reach that hand behind you. 3, 2, 1. Hold there for a moment. Maybe just give it a little bit more juice. Maybe it's quite normal to feel a stretch at the front of your shoulder during this. Good, relax. Let's do the shoulder on the other side. So front of the shoulder, other side, do a little flip around. So your muscles, all of your muscles, and actually just everything in your body is surrounded by this thing called fascia. And it's so connected. We're doing the front of our shoulder, so just roll slightly on top and a forward backward motion right from kind of down here all the way to the top. So mid-arm all the way to the top, doing the shoulder muscles. So this fascia, which I call like a sleeping bag, it's like a sleeping bag for everything. Every individual thing in your body has got it, but it's connected from the tip of your toes all the way up to your head. Same, it's all connected, which is just incredible, right? So this fascia, that's actually what we're rolling out now. Yes, the muscle, but also that fascia that can get tight and stuck. And okay, so rolling now towards the back of the arm, forward, backwards. Don't kill yourself. Just a nice little massage. Think about like the same amount of pressure if you're going to get a massage, like that's the amount of pressure that you'd enjoy. Do that. Okay, you've now done the back of the arm. And now we're going to do the same thing where we lengthen out. This will be the last thing we do with the foam roller tonight. So same thing, the back of the armpit. Oof, that is not very nice. You will definitely be surprised by how much of a difference this makes. So I'm actually quite far back, slightly different on this side. That's okay. Okay, so find that point that feels a bit gross. Then you just rest your elbow on the ground. You can do whatever you want with your head. Ow. And then we're going to let our palm fall to the ground, then rotate back. Palm fall to the ground, rotate back. So it's about this elbow that's on the ground. If you get any tingling and numbness, not quite the right sensation, just move it a bit. You've hit more nerves. You're not doing any damage, but you're just hitting more nerves. We just want to loosen off that muscle. It's a trigger point, like you're getting acupuncture and that kind of stuff. Really push your hand right to the back. We'll do 4. Rotating backwards behind your head. 3, 2, 1. Ah, good. That part is done. See how you feel. Give yourself a little check-in. Roll that foam roller out of the way. Let's grab our balls. If you've got a double ball, please do that. Like 2 of the same type of ball, 2 tennis balls, or a double. Please grab that. If you don't stress yourself. You can still do this on a foam roller. It just depends how it feels. I will show you the double first because that is the kind of ideal, and then I'll show you variations once I've get these guys started. So with the double ball, don't worry that mine looks fancy. I just happen to have found this. It's from Big W, Michelle Bridges brand. Jump on the Big W website. All the gear is amazing. You're going to start at the base of your spine. So just above your pelvis. And then what we're going to do is walk those balls up the spine. If you've done this before, you know what's happening. We're going to slowly walk up the spine. So the way it works, you've got vertebrae, space, bone, space, bone, space, bone, space. And we're going to go into the spaces and then move around to help loosen it up. So if I've got a double ball, don't worry, I'll come to you if you don't. I've got it in that space there, and I'm going to tuck my pelvis, release. Tuck, release, tuck, release. Then roll up. Again, tuck, release, tuck, release. I might even move my hips side to side if that feels good. Okay, so if you've got the double ball, that's what you're going to do. If you don't, if you've just got the single, you can do the same thing. Just go up, find a spot, and I've just got it. Just like there, just on the side of my spine. There's my spine and just off. So just there, and I'll just dig in a little bit, tuck, release, and then side bends. And then you can go up, do left, right, side to side. You may also try, I'm just going to keep talking while you guys do this to give you alternatives. If you find the single ball isn't working, you can do it with the foam roller. I just don't think it'll work. Well, I mean, it could. If you've got a spiky foam roller, it'll definitely work. But if you've got a flat one, maybe not so much. highly recommend just grabbing 2 tennis balls in the future. So say you get to a point and you're like, man, this tuck release thing through the hips is just not working as well anymore. So it's probably about this midpoint. What you're going to do is your tuck release, have a feel, do some like Mexican waves with your hips. And then what you do is a little ab crunch where you come right up, lower down. Breathe in and then you exhale on the way down and then move a bit further up because it just gets a bit better. So loosen up that way. Then checking in. Am I gripping all my muscles? Or am I just kind of relaxing into it as much as I can? It's a bit counterintuitive to seek the discomfort, but the more you can relax. I suppose if you stacked enough Lego pieces together, it would be pretty much the same as 2 spiky balls if you just got the position right. And I don't think Lego breaks, so a sturdy base. I do remember watching Lego Masters and they created towers to see how much weight they could hold. So, I mean, maybe this is just like practice for your next, the next Lego Master competition. Will it withstand? Oh, okay, so you're moving further and further and further and further and up. And I'll give you probably about another minute to work your way up to the mid back region, and then we'll do our normal kind of mobs through the through that area there. So another minute just for you to work your way up to the bottom of your shoulder blades. Now, when you're doing it, try and have those, as long as it's not too uncomfortable, try and have your hands actually across your chest, because that's going to open up your joint spaces a bit more and help you get in there. Oh, final few moments. It's perfectly okay if you've decided to just freestyle and do your own thing. At least I know that you're doing mobility while you're with me. You're doing good things for your body. 10 seconds. Okay, friends. We have found our way to the base of the shoulder blades. I wore an appropriate singlet for this. So we're about here. Now, this particular part, if that's the bottom of my shoulder blade there, this particular part here, if you've got knots there, it actually refers up and causes pain up and can cause pain up here. So if you have a knot, probably around there, we do really want to get into it. So you'll place the ball there and then I'll work with you, okay? If you've got the double, you can double on either side. Please yell out if none of it makes sense. Okay, so I'm just going to pop the double there for me. If you've got the single, do the single. Okay. Ooh, this is already fun. Okay, cross your hands. First things first, cross your hands over your chest. Curl up, then all the way back. Curl up, all the way back. Balls is in between your spine and your shoulder blade or your scapula. One more where you curl. This time arms are going to go over your head. And then you're going to come up, reach up. Good. Okay. Now, whatever side you've got the ball on, you're going to move that arm over your head, then down to your hips. Over your head, down to your hips. Good. And now in a circle. Breathing through it. Out of the way. Good. Bring your hand down to your opposite hip now. So I've got the ball on my right, so I'm going to bring my hand to my left hip. And then over my shoulder like I'm drawing a sword. Down to the hip. Draw the sword up and out and over. Feel free to rest your head on the ground now if that's more comfortable. Or you could pop a pillow under the head if it's really not. One more like this. Good. Place that elbow on the ground in line with your shoulder. And then you're going to rotate your hand to the ground and then back towards your head. So movement is in, then out. In, then out. Good. One last, giving yourself a hug. And then roll that ball further up. About midway up your shoulder blade, or until you find a knot, and do the same thing. Give yourself a hug, roll up, curl back, roll up, curl back. And I won't talk anymore because you know what to do. You just follow all those same routines. Wave your arms around, give yourself a hug, curl up, curl down. And we'll take a few moments to do that at your own pace. I think probably a lot of these things, I've shown you through before, or maybe you've done it in one way or another. Maybe you've been told, you've gone to a physio or an osteo or a myo and they've shown you what to do. But I think probably just having someone do it with you and like force you to do it makes a difference, right? I suppose it's like anything, right? We need a little tap. So you don't spend more than a minute on one knot. Make sure you're moving side to side, then working your way up higher. Do each of those movements in each of those positions. You could try punching your hands up to the sky and then squeezing your shoulder blades back. Punch arms all the way up, straight up to the sky, and then squeeze arm back and see how that feels. You will have to excuse my dog. Around the full moon, he gets so frisky. There was a full moon a little while ago, and he just... Hopefully he's not too annoying for you. Okay. I have hit the upper back. So in the next kind of 15 minutes or so, hopefully you're heading and you're in that upper back region, and we'll work on this together on the wall. On the wall. Yep. Okay, good. So here's where we're going to hit. I'd like you to lean against the wall, and you will be doing around about there. Probably the best indication of where it is, in between your tip of your shoulder bone here and your neckline. We're going to dig the ball into that. And then we're going to wave our arms around again. So here we go. Fine, you can do this on the floor, but it just doesn't work as well. I'm just sitting. You can definitely do it standing as well. I'm doing it seated because I will go off camera Good. Okay, so you found the spot, you're digging in. Oh, I never do this sitting. It works quite well. All right, we're going to do the same thing. Arm overhead, arm down, arm overhead, arm down. Now bring your arm across your body and maybe use the other arm to give yourself a little pull and open. Across the body, give yourself a little pull. Keep moving that. One more. Okay, next one. Let's shrug up, then all the way down. Shrug up. Really draw right down when you do it. Good. Okay, next one, and you may need to turn on an angle for this. So I can still get it on the side, and I'm going to do circles with my arm. You can have your arm long. Maybe I can if I'm a bit higher. So I can look down and do some circles. The spot I'm doing it is right there, right in that crease. So if you're wearing a singlet, it would be round about where that singlet would cross over. So do clockwise circles with your arm and anti-clockwise. Good. Reach your arm up towards the sky and then down. It's not going to get all the way, just slowly, gently. Good. Beautiful. Let's do the other side now. Right, I don't know if I can do it from the still side. No, maybe I can. All right, same thing. So we're going to start with that mid trap, halfway between ear and shoulder, in that nice squishy bit, slightly behind you. And we'll do the same. We'll lift arm over our head, then down, over. Good. Then across the body, then open up like a book across. This is kind of the last bit of balling we're doing for today. We'll get these done. Good. Give yourself a hug. Round your back, then open up. Round your back, open up. Good. Move to that top knot. Maybe you roll around until you find the next spot that needs to be done. Good. And we'll do the same thing. We're going to shrug up, shrug down, shrug up, shrug down. Circles with the arm. Circles the other way. Cross over the body and open. Cross over, open. Good. Guess what? Balling's done. Woo-hoo. I mean, you can keep going if you like. There, give us some other things. Okay. So let's go ahead and do some lower body opening. So we'll start with a nice windscreen wiper movement. So laying down on your back. And we're going to rock our hips, letting both knees fall to the right and then both knees fall to the left. Fall to the right. And now as I do this, my knees are falling to the right and I'm going to pull my left hip across to the right. So I'm going to rock to the left and then I'm just going to draw my right hip across. Give it a little pull. And again. Just starting to open up the sides of my body. Maybe you could have your hands overhead and do the same thing, just lightly overhead. This time when you fall to the right, maybe you let your right foot, sit on top of your left knee. And lightly draw that knee to the ground. And you just hold that. As you're doing that, your left arm could be reaching long. Soft neck here and just lightly looking across to the right. You don't have to stack your bottom foot on top of your top. Over to the other side. And maybe your bottom leg lightly draws your top towards the ground. Good. Back to center. Two options here with this lower back stretch. Firstly, just make sure you're going to tuck that tailbone up towards the sky. And you could straighten the right leg, bring the left leg over and across into a normal spinal twist. Or if you would like something more, you will cross your left leg over your right and then fall across, tucking tailbone. Again, I bring my left leg around my right, tucking. Just, you don't have to tuck your foot, but it's that idea of getting a little bit more, and then gently fall across to the right. And just scooping that tailbone towards the right as well as you open up and look across to the left. We'll stay here for a minute. Just a light sensation through the tummy as you gently relax into the ground. Feeling right shoulder, left shoulder drawing down. Unhooking your feet if you've got them hooked. Grab both knees up, give them a hug. Feel free to let them separate as you do. Push your lower back to the ground and give yourself a rock side to side, massaging out those hips. Good. So feel free to let that left leg go long, right leg come over and across if that's what your spine is calling for. Otherwise, if you want a little bit more, you'll tuck your right leg around your left and then fall across to the left, and maybe just bringing your bottom hip over and across to the right. Again, feeling like there's light pressure drawing that right shoulder towards the ground. If you are near a a couch or a bench or something, you can lightly press in your hands or your legs into that surface to help create a little bit more rotation, and that can feel really nice. Okay, untuck your legs and we'll let them, you're going to stay where you are, laying on your left hip and your left shoulder. I'd like you to stack your knees and stack your feet. And your knees aren't in line, they're rolled away just like they were before. So on this side, my knees are out and in front. From here, what I'm going to do is stretch my arms out long as well. Let me show you on this side, that'll be a bit easier. So my arms are going to be out long as well. This is called the bookend stretch, and it's for opening up the chest and the mid-spine. So here we go. My hands are clasped, and I'm going to keep my tummy in, keep my hips facing neutral, and I'm going to open up with my right arm and look across to the right. Then roll back down. Keep your hips where they are. The movement comes from that mid-back and then down. We're going to do 12 of these. So 1, breathing in on the way back. Exhale 2. 3, feel free to rest your head on the ground. 4, get a bit of reach through those fingers. 5, tucking shoulders towards toes. 6, can you feel that as you open up doing this, that your shoulder blades have to squeeze together to get a little bit more open? So every time you squeeze that back together and reach for the ground behind you, you get a little bit more open through the front. 2 to go. 1 more. Good. Roll yourself to the other side, to your other hip. Tuck your shoulder right under. Stack your knees, stack your feet. Knees are out in front of your hips. And here we go. My hands are lightly clasped together, tummy pulled in and tucked. And I roll. Open. 12. Breath in. Exhale, reach. 2. 3. 4. 3 to go. 1 more. Good. Well done. Hug your knees up to chest. Roll onto your back. And give yourself a little happy baby. So now we're on our back. We're just going to give our necks a little massage. So place 2 fingers behind behind each side of your head, and we're going to massage the base of our spine out. So index finger and middle finger You can just right at the base of that neck, right about here, starting from the midline. And I'd like you to do some clockwise circles. We'll do 5 clockwise circles, fingers on either side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anti-clockwise circles, same spot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just slightly out from that, right into that base of the skull area. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A little bit further out. Keep going. 5. Change direction. Okay. Ready for this one? I'm a bit all over the place, but I know I'm hitting every muscle, so I'm happy. I'm okay. I'm okay with being all over the place. Get the heels of your hands. We clench our teeth a lot when we're stressed and tired and in our sleep. I think we all know that, and that can refer up to headaches and also neck pain as well, just because of the way the body works. So we're going to take the heels of our hand. We're going to do this. This will be the video that I'll leave as the screen capture for what this video is. The muscles of your chewing muscles. I can just give them a little stretch by doing this. One more. Good. You know, take 2 fingers again. Can you follow my jawline? And here's the point where it goes upwards. What I'm going to do is apply a little bit of pressure forwards. So don't point it in. We're not going inwards. We're pointing towards my nose. So 2 fingers on either side, or even just 1 finger on either side. I'm going to point towards my nose and do some circles. Should be a little bit uncomfortable. That's okay. You'll be amazed by how good you'll feel after this. Go the other way. Still digging forward. Good. Okay. All right. We're doing good. We're doing good. Let's come down. Come down onto your belly. Actually, no, we'll stay at a 4-point and then we'll come down to our belly. Stay with me here, 4-point position. Happy cat, angry cat. So let's arch our back up towards the sky. Chin to chest, tailbone tucks. And then the other way. Head behind, tail behind. And again. Really pushing hard into your hands here. Can you get your back to touch the sky? As you soften into happy cat, can you draw your collarbones through your shoulders and reaching out, expanding shoulders back? Good. Once more each time. Really tuck tailbone inwards now, inwards and forwards. And again, last. Happy cat. Looking through your arms, through your chest, reaching long. Okay. Place the weight in your right hand, left knee, right hand, left knee. And we'll reach our right leg long, our left arm long. Holding here. We're just going to stay for 5, 4, flat hips here, belly button draws in, 3, 2, 1, other arm, other leg, reach long, think long, not high, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, good. Separate your knees, let your arms go long. That was just to activate those muscles, get our brain in the right spot. So separate knees, toes are together, reaching my hands as long as they'll go. Stay here. Can you soften into this position with active hands, active arms, sitting hips down and away towards your heels? Draw your elbows and your armpits lightly towards the ground in this position. And then sit your hips further back. Walk hands over to the right. An option to just sit your butt on your heels now, your choice. Keep doing that. Hands over to the left. Walk them back to the center now. Bring your elbows in line with your shoulders. And staying that way, we'll sit your body away from your elbows, a nice dolphin pose. Hips are going to stay high here. Elbows in line with shoulders. Leave your hands on the ground and you'll dive your chest away towards the front of your thighs. Keep tucking chest towards your knees. And now rock yourself forward and then rock yourself back. 4 to go. Rock your body weight forward over your elbows. You end up kind of in a low plank variation and then sit right back. And again, 3. Each time you sit back, you get a little further. 2. 1 more. Okay. Now we're here. Keep your elbows where they are. Bring your hands together. Maybe you walk your elbows a little closer to each other or adjust as you need. Back a little further. Dive those elbows in towards the ground. You might even tilt your chest towards the ground a little. 3, 2, 1. Soften out. Now let's come to the ground. Take this bad boy off. Okay, it is time for our back bending. Let's do it. I'm going to start with a bit of a cobra. So elbows directly beneath shoulders here. Lightly draw your tailbone into the ground here. And we're going to come up into a Sphinx pose. So applying pressure into the ground with your hands, roll shoulders back, and imagine dragging your elbows towards your toes. We're going to stay here. Long neck. Strengthening that upper back. Can you imagine just almost like you're tilting your chest forward and open and broadening through those collarbones. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place your hands where your elbows are, so almost directly in line with your shoulders still. And you can imagine like you're doing a push-up, but you're not actually going to lift up. All we're going to do, keeping that tummy still nice and engaged, is roll your shoulders back and squeeze them together. So roll those shoulders back, squeeze them together, and push those hands into the ground. We're not lifting up. What you feel is a tightening through the upper back. So not the front of the chest, but more the shoulders drawing together in a way. A powerful lifting through the upper spine. Keep tucking tailbone to the ground to counterbalance that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. All right, let's go again. Another Sphinx pose. Elbows in line with shoulders, maybe a little bit wider this time. Let's do it together. Tailbone tucks, shoulders roll back and open, and then lightly down towards your toes. So let's see if we can dive and draw our shoulders towards our toes or towards the ground as our crown lifts away. Holding here. 10 seconds as we breathe. Not staying long. Maybe to get a little lower back strengthening, you lightly lift your legs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands to where elbows were. Actively push away from the ground. Shoulder blades squeezing together. Opening up though. Shoulders roll back, not in. Open, not closed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. A lazy weave the needle. Left arm goes long, right arm goes underneath, and wriggle that right arm right across. You might have to play with this a little bit. Draw your shoulder towards your toes again, so mine's quite low. And then you can maybe just rest there and just see if that opens up through the right shoulder. Maybe you need to draw that left armpit towards the ground. I find that helps quite a bit if you keep rocking that left side towards the ground. Definitely does depend on your body shape as you do this and positioning. Cool, let's do the other side. Left arm goes long, right arm goes under and across, reaching far, and you draw your right elbow towards the ground. Okay, lovelies, I've only got one more for us to play with. If you're not near a wall and you move to get to a wall before, what I would like for you to do is this one. So if you're not near a wall and that's a bit of a drain for you, do this one where your arms are up like this and then you rotate and you stretch around. Feel free to do that with I could do it with this, where I grab two things and then I wrap around and I use this to grab. If you are near a wall, you're going to take kind of what we were doing before in Dolphin and bring it up to the wall, where you keep yourself fairly straight and neutral through the hips. And what you do if your elbows are going to stay at shoulder height, and you rock your elbows up towards the sky and then down. Rock and down. The movement here is at this part of my back, at the mid back, if you can see. Hips stay fairly neutral. Highly recommend doing this if you're not near a wall now. I'll do it later. Rock up and then sit back. And what you'll feel is the higher you go, if you exhale, is your shoulder blades opening up. Good. If you're doing the double arm stretch, feel free to do the other one now, wrapping around. Great. All right, guys. Very last thing is we're just going to do a few chin tucks. This is because you can do it anytime over the day and it's magic for you. So stand up nice and tall. And lift your arms up, stretch out. Okay, this one. Just go like looking straight ahead. Tuck your chin. Okay. Looking straight ahead. Tuck your chin. If you can do this once a day, you're going to be in good stead. It's small, but this makes a really big difference to tension in your neck and shoulders. You also look slightly surprised, huh? So maybe if you're surprised over the day, you don't have this. I don't know. 5, 3 to go. Double chin, release. 2, 1. You have one more thing to do. I keep saying that, but it's your final check-in with how your body's feeling. Do what you did at the start of the session now. If you did what I did, we did some of these. Side body. Oh, yeah, that feels better. We did the other side. Oh, amazing. Stretch back. And then we came down. Oh. And we did some cows. And the main check-in, if you did the same as me, you're doing your own. If you did something different, was a push-up. And then I floated into a T. Oh, feels good. And the other side. Oh. Whew. Hopefully that's feeling amazing for you now. It's feeling nice and you're feeling looser. Hopefully. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope your upper body is feeling nice and mobile. You know that you've got that lower body session online as well, so you can do that any old time. We've got some more mobs and movement happening later this week as well. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the session. Have a lovely rest of your day.